Good evening from Westminster. As you know, we had a event. If you were on our group site, we had an event for trying out some boba at another place. And what I usually do is every month I alternate between something closer to my house in the South Bay region of Los Angeles and Orange County, which is where the Orange County Spirit Riders are located, or at least we're based out of. And so my plan today, and I'm sorry it took a little while for me to get online here. I know it's about 6:50 right now, and the event actually started at 6, but due to traffic I got here at 6:30. But then I looked at the RSVPs and then realized that I was the only one who RSVP'd again. And so even though I wasn't expecting anyone to show up today, because this is an event that I planned, I keep my promises, and I honor my appointments, because that's what a chapter director does. Women on Wheels chapter directors, we do everything in our power to try to create an experience for the members that we serve. And being the chapter director for this organization, for the Orange County Spirit Riders for quite a number of years, it's at the same time it's an honor to do it, but it's also heartbreaking. And there were a lot of revelations for tonight. And notice that I'm not in motorcycle gear tonight because, I have other things to do in my life, and I'm not going to let the disappointment of other people, who don't come to these events even though they want to be a part of a group or whatever, aren't going to affect me. And I have hockey later tonight, so I'm in Paramount, so I'm not going to drive all the way back down to switch motorcycle to my car and then drive all the way back to the 405, because it actually took me like an hour to get here. But anyway, these events are going to continue on for the remainder of 2025. That's one thing that's not going to change. I mean, I may have to change the things a bit or two, because, considering that my priorities, if something comes up and no one's going to show up, I have at liberty to change it to my convenience, because, when I create these events, they have to be things that I enjoy as well. So that's not the big issue here. But one thing did stand out today, and one of the things that I get as a chapter director is every month I get the list of all of the active members for the organization, here with Women on Wheels. And that's one of the perks that I get, that I have to be privy to when I am actually when I'm actually doing administrative work as a chapter director. And so I decided to take this Excel file, and I did a filter just to see by state where we are. And I looked at some of the statistics, and one of my former colleagues on the national board, who just happened to have done the nerdy thing that I love to do. And Pam Rusk, if you're hearing this, I love you to bits, and I knew you were going to do this. But she proceeded to break down how many members there were by state. And as funny as it was, and I was impressed at Minnesota, which Minnesota has like 89 members. I want you to take a wild guess how many the state of California has. I'll give you like 5 seconds to figure this one out, okay? And I'm going to raise the number of fingers that describe how many active Women on Wheels members we still have in the state of California. So I'm going to give you a couple seconds here, okay? I want you to think about it. How many Women on Wheels members do you think we still have in the state of California? Take a wild guess. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Yeah. That's 4. And to clarify, I am one of the 4 remaining members of Women on Wheels that's still in the state of California, which means what you're looking at right now, I am representing 25% of the remaining members in the state of California. So just a little breakdown. Obviously, you know who I am. Maybe you don't, but now you do if you're watching this. But I can give you a little description on 2 of the members of the remaining 3. One of them is lifelong member, 40-year member, who lives in Santa Ana, and Sil. We love Sil, and she couldn't be here tonight due to other commitments, and I'm okay with that because I knew she told me it's fine. Another one is actually my ex co-director, and that person lives in Torrance, which isn't far from me at all. It's actually probably about 10-15 minutes away. But that person absolutely hates me and has actually blocked me since 2016. So she has no idea that there's something wrong with the chapter and hasn't been an active person connecting with anyone with Women on Wheels. So I don't know what the hell's going on with her. And then the last person, I don't know this person, but they live in Northern California. So I've never met them, and I think they just throw money to get the magazine every month. So currently that means that I'm technically down to like 1.5 members. That's very heartbreaking. That's also not a chapter. So, I've kind of come to the realization as I'm sitting here, and actually, there's a sushi spot like over there. Okay, there's a sushi spot over there that I'm probably going to eat dinner at first before I come back here and get a boba. But I think I've come to the realization that the writing is kind of on the wall at this point, and that I'm grateful to the members and friends who have spent all their time to try to keep this place going, and just to have faith in what I was trying to do to save this. But I think the writing's on the wall at this point, and I often joke that I keep this chapter alive out of spite, and I kind of do, because I actually had some other people tell me that I probably should have closed this years ago, and I'm stubborn. I want to belong to a chapter. I've run chapters before. I've founded another chapter in another state, and they're barely hanging on, but at least they're alive. And I just want a place to belong. And it's heartbreaking when you work on something and you realize that the times have definitely changed. There's a lot of reasons why California decided to go to the shitter when it came to the number of members in this organization. I'm not going to go into that because I'm aware of some of the history, and unfortunately we never recovered. And unfortunately I was more than 2,300 miles away to the east and had no power in trying to save anything. That part there's nothing I can control about that. But what I could control was what I did when I came home. And I've done my best, and I know that. I've done what I could with what little resources I had. And, this is really more of a reflection of how the times that we're living in affect the way that we think about how we interact with others. And apparently, riding in motorcycle groups isn't a thing anymore. And I get it, I'm one of the younger members in this organization. I'm 40. I'm one of the younger ones. I know it's a weird thing to say, but one of the things is that, we're busy. I have multiple jobs. I make this work because I care about it enough. And, for people, they need to find value in whatever they do in order to keep going. That's the thing. We're at a point where time and resources are such a high commodity that we can't just say, oh, I'll just do this because it's there. We have choices. We choose where to spend our time, where to spend our money, where to spend our energy. We have those choices. I'm unfortunately choosing to be here tonight, but it's okay because I have my laptop and stuff, and I can do homework in the car and or whatever I'm doing. I have all that. So it's not like I'm really, out of place right now, because since I work remote, it's not a big deal. But at the same time, though, sometimes you need a sign that tells you that something is just not working anymore. And I think I got that sign today. I definitely did. So, I knew, I said, I'm going to give this one more year and see what happens. And I think this is that year. Just a little thing too. We were founded in 2003. That's the official date of the founding of the Orange County Spirit Riders. Just to put in perspective, I began riding in 2004, and I joined Women on Wheels in 2005. So if you do the math, this year is my 20th year as a member of Women on Wheels. I have never been without a chapter for the entire time, for 20 years. I've been affiliated officially with 4 chapters while I have been an active Women on Wheels member. In fact, when I moved to Ohio in 2009, in order for me not to be stuck without a chapter, I created one in Columbus. That's how much I feel that chapters have, play an important part in being part of this organization. And yeah, sure, I've had my time working in the at the national level, and I still do to some degree. And yeah, and I'm still going to the Wild West Fest, which was the theme of tonight's meeting, was actually to go to tell you about Wild West Fest and all of the cool things that we're going to be doing in Tucson, because I am riding there, and that's going to be a nice quick 500-mile jaunt. But yeah, it's something that I want to share motorcycling with many people, and I can't because there's nobody fucking here. And this boba place, I think I've heard is really good, so I'm gonna do it after sushi, of course, because that you can't have. It's hard to have dessert before dinner. I can't do that anymore. But I will say though that it's definitely one of those moments where you kind of face the music and say, yeah, Christine, it's okay to give up. You can. I don't want to call this giving up though, but it definitely is a sign that the demographic and also the situation, the conditions for membership have definitely changed in terms of how we put groups together and how we do this. I mean, California, we are a spoiled bunch. We take riding for granted, because I could have been out here tonight on my bike if I felt like it. I mean, you can hear a bike in the background, like literally speeding down Beach right now, Beach Boulevard. So technically, I'm on the Westminster-Huntington Beach border. So if you just cross the street, it's Huntington Beach. It's a weird boundary, and nobody wants to be in Huntington Beach. Okay, it's garbage. So there's not much I really can do about this situation. All I'm going to really do now is just focus on my enjoyment of what I know for the last 20 years has been what has made me happy being a part of this organization. All the people that I know, all the people I've met, all the people that have watched me grow up. Those are the people that I'm going to stick with, because obviously there's really nobody else I can bring in. And this is the best I can do. So, I mean, for anyone who even bothered to listen tonight, just wanted to let you know that I did make it to my event today. I made it to my event, and like I said, I'm gonna run my final, even if it's by myself, even if the final end of the year, closing end of the chapter hurrah is just me and a medium rare prime rib steak at the Franciscan in Torrance is going to be my end point. Oh, and by the way, too, the reason why I chose this center is because actually all the way over there, there's a it used to be Lazy Dog restaurant. I think it's closed now, but that's where we used to do all of our holiday parties. So this is a very familiar place. I decided, why don't we just make it poignant and just kind of have some symbolism to this crap, right? Anyway, that's all I have for tonight. If you would like to send your condolences to my evening, feel free. But like I said, definitely today has opened my eyes and given me a better direction, and in some cases brought me a little bit of peace, I will say, because I had been mulling what to do with the future of this chapter for quite a few years. Actually, I have delayed the closure of this chapter by several years, and I've tried to buy it time, but it reminds me of something. I also work in animal rescue, and last Wednesday, while I was helping a friend in animal rescue, I had an animal in surgery, and I got a call from the vet, and right then and there, I had to authorize the euthanization of the animal because it wasn't doing well during surgery. You know, and in some cases, this is kind of like, I thought about, you know, ultimately, I'm going to be the one who's going to have to call it and euthanize this chapter. You know, I mean, obviously, this is not going to end my riding career or anything like that, but man, I'll tell you, the fact that I joined the Orange County Spirit Riders, you know, as a young 20-year-old, 21-year-old, you know, just learning how to ride a motorcycle and having these women take me under their wing and teach me how to do things. And now, you know, as a 40-year-old with 20 years of motorcycle experience, I'm going to be the one to have to close up shop. You know, it's surreal. You know, all the people that I rode with are either gone to other states, or they've retired from riding altogether, or all of the above. But I'm still here. I question why sometimes, but it just means that my story isn't over yet. So, aside from that, I hope that you guys have a good night. I'm gonna go get some sushi over at Dai and Dai Sushi, and yeah, take care of yourselves and each other, all right?